we get really clear on what are the values and how are you living them out every day?
Yeah.
Because we can easily say we value all these things, but if we're not in alignment with them, then it gets out of sort and gets out of whack.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Therapy Show podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Mustard. In each episode, I interview a seasoned and knowledgeable talk therapist from the counseling world to glean valuable insights, techniques, and tools that you can apply to your practice and your life. And if you're considering a career in the counseling field or just want to hear about what it's like to be a talk therapist, then this is the podcast for you. The shoe is on the other foot in this episode of The Therapy Show. My friend Dave Holland of Athena Reyes Coaching interviews me on my journey to living a fit and healthy lifestyle, why I became a marriage and family therapist, how I found my niche of creating podcourses. Plus, we talk about my coaching practice, how I help women feel amazing in their skin and rock their self-confidence, and even my marriage. I'm chatting about all the things in this episode. Our interview is part of Dave's series of interviewing entrepreneurs, consultants, and coaches. So be sure to check out his other interviews on his YouTube channel, and I'll be sure to put that link in the show notes. Imagine growing your business, achieving your dreams and your goals. Schedule a time to speak with me and find out how it can all be done. Head to my website, lisamustard.com, click the About Me page, and then schedule your call.
So good afternoon. In fact, good morning or happy lunchtime to Lisa over in the US. Dave Holland here. Welcome to the Results Rules OK podcast. And pleasure to welcome as my guest today, Lisa Mustard from the USA in, I'm going to get this wrong, but North Carolina.
No, South Carolina.
Ah, so
okay.
close. So
That's okay.
My apologies. South
Very
Carolina.
Close.
I'm not even going to say it's the same thing. I know that. But anyway, South Carolina, welcome to the call.
Thank you.
Lisa, so what's it? You're in the USA, South Carolina. I've got that now. And we want to know all about you. So tell us, who's Lisa Mustard? Who are you, where you're from? What do you do? And how did you get here?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, Dave. This is really exciting to be one of your interviewees, I guess.
You're very kind. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So my name is Lisa Mustard, just like you put on a hot dog for those in the States. I don't know. Maybe I should say a pretzel. I don't know in Europe what you put mustard on, but just like you put on a hot dog, I am a mom. I'm a wife. I am a podcaster. I love fitness, health and wellness and healthy aging. Okay. And I love to help women feel amazing in their skin and rock their confidence and help them create a life that allows them more time with their families. Really, it's really what I love to do. And I do that in a number of ways. So that's it in a nutshell.
I mean, this, and I know you a little bit. We've connected and that sort of thing before. I did a bit of research, and there's clearly, this is my observation, clearly a real passion about doing what you do, and whether it's the health and nutrition and well-being and fitness. But what brought you to that? Because I think I'm right in saying I looked at some of the conversations you've had and some of your publications, and some of that stuck out was you got to what I call a certain age, and you decided, I think it was, you wanted to be able to do a number of pull-ups, bar pull-ups. Where did that come from? Because there's something happened there that really drove you towards this.
So yeah, it's a long story, and I'll try to make it as short as possible.
Fine. We've got time. We've got hours. Okay. We've got hours. We're fine.
Hours. Right. Okay, great. All right, let me sit down here, kick back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to grab a beer. No. So I didn't grow up very active. I didn't have a sport. I didn't do much of anything. I was more into hanging out with my friends and being social. And I never was a very active kid. But when I got to after college, I guess in my mid-20s, I realized that I wanted to kind of work on my health and fitness. And I was seeing things in the mirror kind of shift a little bit. Nothing that really had me freaking out but I knew that if I was going to age healthfully, I had to start finding some type of exercise that I really enjoyed. Okay. And so it's kind of funny, at that time in my life, in my mid-20s, I was working, you probably don't know this about me, I was working in sports and entertainment marketing in Atlanta. Okay. And I worked first for the Goodwill Games. Do you remember the Goodwill Games?
I know of it. I do. I recall. Okay. Yes, I do. Yeah.
So I worked initially for the Goodwill Games. I was in marketing, and I got to hang out with a lot of athletes. Remember Dan O'Brien?
Yes,
Remember Dan
well, the
O'Brien?
name, yes, absolutely. Yeah, my
Yeah.
goodness.
And
Okay.
just some other, I just remember Dan O'Brien. He was just one of like our big names. But I eventually, after working so I was really inspired by the athletes that I was around. And I got to see Michael Johnson. Remember the sprinter,
Yes.
Michael Johnson? I got to be
Yeah.
around him. And I really saw the dedication to their sport. Prior to that, I had worked in cycling. So I worked with the Tour du Pont, which was America's premier cycling race. I was an intern. This was like 95, right? After college. And I was around Lance Armstrong before he became the Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, before that long, Lance Armstrong turned up. Okay, we understand.
So I was also around all these athletes and I was like, Lisa, come on, you got to find something, Yeah. And I fell in love with going to the gym. I one day walked into the gym and I was like, I think I'm going to like it here. And at the time living in Atlanta, I was young, mid-20s, I was really enjoying the people that I was working out with. We had a nice community. It kept me going back. I started to see results. Yeah. And so at that time, after the Goodwill Games, I moved over and worked for World Championship Wrestling.
Oh, okay. Slight difference. Okay.
Very different, but yet still. So all of these events were under Turner Sports. So Ted Turner, I worked really for Turner Sports. Okay. So I went and worked at World Championship Wrestling. And I woke up one day and I was like, I don't know if this is the career I want to be in. I don't really foresee myself being here. I thought it was fun. I thought it was neat, but I was like, how did I get here? And what am I doing with my life? And what do I want to do? So at that time, I was really getting into the gym and health and wellness, learning more about healthy eating, nutrition, all that stuff. Decided I wanted to go to grad school. And so I moved to South Carolina to attend the University of South Carolina to get my master's in public health. And that was an amazing time in my life. I moved here. I started grad school, became a Carolina Gamecock for those in the States.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's our mascot. And right when I moved here, within 6 weeks of moving here, I met my future husband.
Oh, wow.
Billy.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But it's a long story. We dated. It took us a while to start dating, but he got me into the gym more consistently because he was a personal trainer at the time. So that's really when I started to really hit it harder because I had this guy that I was like really tight friends with, really hit it off. We had a lot in common and we would go to the gym together. He's my training partner. And that's really when I learned so much. I became a personal trainer. I got my certification. Right. And that's when I started doing pull-ups.
Right, that's where it came from. And was that, I sort of read that on some article, because that I assume it's true, but this was this sort of target of doing these pull-ups. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. So I've just been, I don't know, I never thought I would be able to do one. And here I am. This is 20 years later. We're married. We have 2 kids. I do pull-ups. I do them at home in the kitchen. I have a bar in the kitchen. So it's just been, he challenges me with that still. And we challenge our kids to do it. I don't know. Pull-ups are kind of like, to me, the ultimate kind of bad, exercise move.
I think most people have a bar in their kitchen, but it's not one they can pull up from. It's one they drink from. That's the problem, I think, by the sound of it.
Yeah.
But
right next to that one. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah. So, after I was in public health for a while and I was working with people one-on-one, I realized a lot of the issues that people were coming in with were mental health issues. Like they were dealing with feelings, symptoms of depression, anxiety, and I couldn't really do much with that from a public health standpoint, except refer them to a therapist.
Sure.
The same time in my life, I was going through some stuff with Billy. We broke up. It was a huge ordeal. So I went to counseling for the first time in my life at probably age 27, I think, 20 years ago. Wow. And really loved the process of therapy and dug deep, learned a lot about how I was raised, because he and I broke up and I had all kinds of crazy ideas about marriage and what men should do for women and being taken care of. And that's all stemmed from my own stuff from growing up and what I was raised with. So I had all these like beliefs. And so anyway, long story short, I loved the process and decided that I wanted to go back to be a counselor. So I went back to college.
Over, right. Interesting.
Yeah. So I went back and I got my degree in counselor education. Billy and I did get back together. We got married.
Good. There's a happy ending to this with the sound, which is great. Good. That's important.
Yeah.
It's important. Good.
And I've done a variety of things over the years. For the past 10 years, I've worked primarily with a military population. And that's been such an incredible opportunity to support the military, mainly Army. army.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then 2 years ago, I had this idea to start a podcast for therapists.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And what's the, you can give it a plug. What's the podcast
Oh, sure.
called?
Yeah. So my show is called The Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard, and you can
Excellent.
find it on all the podcast platforms, as far as I know.
Excellent.
And I also create continuing education courses for therapists. A lot of the times, therapists, when we all have to have a certain amount of continuing education for our license.
Sure.
In our state, and here in the States, our states determine how many hours we need. A lot of the times when it's non-COVID, you can go to live events and sit in an audience and ask questions. And then you can also do at-home studying. Well, with COVID, our live events pretty much went away, and we had to get real creative and do them on Zoom and everything, which are still around. But I saw an opportunity to really push for creating information that you could take on the go.
Yes.
So I'm really excited. I don't know of another therapist doing that. So I'm excited to kind of, help my peers get what they need through the earbuds, and not so much having to sit at a computer.
Because this sort of COVID situation, as we call it, I think it's, there's talk of a vaccine and all sorts of amazing things going on, but it's going to take a while to rattle through the economy right now. I think we've got this sort of situation for a while yet. So that sounds like, we've all got used to talking over Zoom now. I think everybody's talking over Zoom. I talk to people in their kitchens and their laundry rooms and bedrooms and all sorts of things because they're sat at home working, which is fabulous.
I know.
So
I have to be careful.
That's an incredible journey through, from fitness and wrestling through to military support, and so that's a very varied, very varied career. So there is a certain age, I think, that we get to, and I've passed that age now of sort of 40-ish, 40-something, whatever you want to call it, and we wake up in the morning, we go, I'm not where I should be either, personally, professionally, career-wise, relationship-wise, or health and fitness-wise. And in your experience, as somebody they're not sort of happy with their level of health and well-being, what sort of challenge do they face? How do they get back into it? What would you advise? Because there's a lot of people watching this who probably they have got the bar in the kitchen, but it's the wrong sort. What should they do apart from contact you and your colleagues? But what can they start to do to make a positive change?
Well, I think, first of all, define what their goals would be. You want to say, okay, well, whatever that looks like for you, watching, listening, what would your goals be? Is it whatever that is? I mean, is it to have more energy? Is it to age more? I don't know what the word is. Healthfully.
Yeah, sure. But just to age,
right? To function,
age.
To feel good, and kind of reverse engineer it, kind of figure out what the end goal is and what are you willing to do to get there.
Yeah.
And then not bite off more than you can chew, because I think that we have a tendency to think I can do all these things to get to where, and also people want to complicate it too. They want to think you have to be keto, or you have to be vegan, or you have to be paleo, or whatever, or you have to intermittent fast, but you really don't. If someone's dealing with, they want to lose weight, you really just need to create a calorie deficit, whatever that looks like for you and what you eat. I, of course, would want you to be eating as much whole foods as possible, less processed, less packaged foods, but also move your body. You don't have to hit the gym for 3 hours. I mean, the research shows, 20, 30 minutes a day, you can do body weight exercises. And what I prefer to do, what I like to do, doesn't mean that that's what you have to do. I just have been doing this for so long. I have it kind of like it's programmed into my day. So
this is a pattern for you.
Right. Yeah. So but if I was brand new to it, and I had kind of hit a slump and I needed somebody to kind of remind me what I needed, it would be, look at what I'm eating, get really honest with yourself about what you're putting in your body, get your sleep, drink your water, and move your body. Those things will help you're going to start to feel better. You're going to start to sleep better. And, energy begets energy. So you'll find that you'll want to do more with that energy that you're creating for yourself. And I know a lot of women midlife, they find that the spread is happening, and the men say it too, but it's really not. You have to all of a sudden, don't be disheartened. Like there's still hope. Like you can still feel amazing in your skin and get back to feeling really, really good. I think you have to commit to the things that work. And,
of course. I mean, does it have interest? I mean, do you find that women and men have a different take a different priority, a different approach to this? Is there different pressures on women than men, or are these just sort of classic stereotypes that don't really exist?
Well, I mean, I don't, I just can really speak from my experience
Sure.
and from my clients that I've worked with over the years, whether it's perceived or not. It's, everybody's unique and individual, and they bring
Sure.
to the table their experiences with this. I think it's more than just how do men and women handle it. It's how do you handle it as an individual, and what are the messages that the limiting beliefs maybe that you put on yourself, or the story that you continue to tell yourself over and over again, because you can tell yourself a new story anytime, right?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
But we totally can. Like we can pivot, and we can tell ourselves a new story at any time. And I think that's what lights me up so much about this work, is that when women are mainly I work with women, but when they get that, when they realize it's not too late, I can change, I can do something different, I can, I see opportunity now. That's when starts to happen for them, and they start to kind of shift and try new things. But I don't necessarily, I think women, we have this, especially if you're a mom, you have this, I need to do for all these people before I do for myself.
Yeah.
That's there. And I struggle with that because my kids are home doing school 3-4 days a week right now. And so I make an effort. I have to fit my stuff in the pockets of the day. Sure. And that seems to change weekly depending on what's going on with their schooling.
Yes.
But I'm committed to it because I know it works.
Yes. Okay.
So I think you just have to look at what you're able to do, and let's help you write a new story, change those limiting beliefs, and fit it in. But
it must be possible to do it, because you're an example of how you can do it. You're a busy professional, you're a mom, you're a wife, you've got family, all this going on, and yet you fit it in around as part of what you do. Yeah. In fact, I was asked a question, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, one of my clients up in Luxembourg, and they're nothing to do with health and nutrition. It's not my field specifically, but talking about building their business. They got some great results in their business, and she said to me, Are we too old to build a fabulous business now? Have we missed the boat? And I was sort of a bit taken aback, because they're 5 years younger than me. And I said, not at all. I don't get it. I don't understand it. To me, success can come at any point in time professionally. But is that true for fitness and health and well-being, that the best time to get fit was 20 years ago or today, I guess? But is it ever too late, or should you always just start doing something?
I don't think it's ever too late, but I think you have to be realistic. I didn't just start this journey to add muscle, when I turned 40.
Sure.
That was, I'm 47 now. I started in 20 some years ago. I started working out in the gym.
Yes.
So I've amassed over time, a love of lifting weights and adding muscle, and, figuring out that this is the lifestyle that I want to lead. But no, I don't think it's ever too late. I think you just have to be realistic. You have to just realize, like, okay, well, unfortunately, our bodies, as we age, we drop muscle mass, but you can still build muscle at 40. It's not like you can't build muscle. You just have to pick up the weight and start doing it. I've seen many transformations of women in their 40s and 50s and beyond who, didn't pick a weight up until then. So, but it's not like you pick up the weights one time a week.
No, exactly.
You have to be.
It doesn't work that way, I take it. Okay.
Right. No, I mean, if it did, we'd all be like Arnold.
Absolutely.
Right?
So much easier, wouldn't it, all around? Goodness sake.
Yeah.
Okay. And what sort of, just out of interest, what sort of transformations have you seen with the work that you do?
Yeah.
Without obviously naming any clients, but what sort of transformations have you seen people accomplish with you?
Well, I think it depends on what they come for. So my favorite ones are, I think the ones that I get most excited about, because it kind of parallels my process, is women in their 40s who are maybe successful in what they do, but they're looking to kind of change things up, and whether they want to add a new income stream, they pursue that. And I see them with being able to do that, whatever that might be for them, or the ones who say, I want to pivot and try something different, and I want to kind of switch careers, which, I think it really depends on the person and responsibilities they have going on in their life, if that's the best for them. Yeah. But sometimes it's not that we have to shift our careers. We just have to take our skill sets and what we're good at and find a new opportunity with it. And so those are the ones that I get really excited about, because I love to think outside the box. And I mean, nowadays there's so many possibilities and opportunities, especially with you can have an online business, you can have, a consultation agency. I mean, there's so much you can do from your phone or computer or from your house.
Absolutely. Well, the fact we're speaking across the Atlantic and time zones and that sort of thing is just a testament to that, I think.
Yeah.
So what, just again, what out of interest, what in your experience, what stops people doing this? Is it their narrative they tell themselves? Because, is it that, I'm heavy boned and I've got a low metabolism, all this sort of rubbish that people come out with? Is it the narrative that has to change first and just make a decision, or why don't you do it more?
I think a lot of it is the narrative. I think it's the limiting beliefs. I also think that we have to stop worrying about what other people think about our decisions. For a lot of people, a lot of people midlife, that's not so hard. For me, it wasn't very hard. But I'm very lucky that I have a very supportive spouse. We talk a lot about ideas. I definitely have worked with women whose partners have not been as supportive. So there's that whole thing that we have to kind of work through and work around and work through together. I also think that sometimes we get our values kind of out of alignment. So I like to kind of, when I'm working with somebody, what are your values? Like, why are you doing this? Why do you want to pivot? Why do you want to start this new thing? Why do you want to add that extra income? Why?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's purely, I need the money, financial, flexibility, financial freedom. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, gosh, that's a wonderful why to have if you want to create more freedom in your bank account.
You have to get there. It'd be on Zoom in a second.
So I think getting very clear on your why, we've all heard that, but to me, it's more about aligning with your values. So for example, one of the things that's really important to me is family first. I say that a lot. If it gets in the way of being able to put my family first, then it's going to be a no.
Quite rightly so, absolutely. But these are the values that people need to rank in importance, aren't they?
Yeah. But everybody's values are different. So another one of my values is optimal and vibrant health. So does that mean for me to achieve that, I have to go to the gym 3 hours a day? No. That means that I'm going to drink my water. I'm going to get my sleep. I'm going to be aware of my thoughts, feelings, and actions, and I'm going to own it. And so we get really clear on what are the values and how are you living them out every day?
Yeah.
Because we can easily say we value all these things, but if we're not in alignment with them, then it gets out of sort and gets out of whack.
Yeah, I think that's because I see this. I think in what I do, which is more on the business and development side, that people, they may have values, but they have to participate in those values as well. They have to align with them. It's one thing having a poster on the wall saying something, but it has to show up in what they do on a daily basis. And the same thing must happen in the health and well-being as well.
Yes, definitely. And a lot of the times when I start to feel kind of defeated or self-defeat or whatever is going on with me, I go back, okay, what's going on here? Like, why do I have these feelings today? What's out of whack? What do I need to work on? Where do I need to kind of bring my energy back to? And so it can, I think that has a lot to do with it as well. And having a good support system is really, really key. And I know that you, I think, may have mentioned this are you taking advice from people who have what you want?
Absolutely.
Are you surrounding yourself around people that can mentor and can help? Who've been through it as well and can really guide and support you.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people out there that have that and they can help you. And so don't take advice or feel like you have to listen to people who are kind of doing the opposite of what you want.
Absolutely.
They're usually not very happy people.
But I mean, I see them. You must see this as well, where you have people where they have advisors and guides around, which are all very good. But sometimes it's their family, it's their friends, their social group, and and we've found this as well. Lynn and I have been together now for, 41, nearly 42 years now. My goodness, I am so old. But anyway,
congratulations.
Thank you very much. But we found over our lives that some people, we've also people do one or two things. Either they hold you up or they hold you back. Right. And if they hold you up and they support and guide and mentor and move you forwards, great. That's where we want to go. But they hold you back. Right. Intentionally or otherwise, you do need to sort of let them go a little bit and move on. That can be quite tough, especially if it's family or relatives, whatever it is. And that can be quite difficult for people to make the break and make this positive shift as well, I would have thought.
Yeah. And, come to think of it over the years, as you were saying that, before I met Billy,
Mm-hmm.
probably a lot of my influence was coming around my friends, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the people that I would hang out with, that I would work with. And there wasn't a whole lot of, it was like status quo is okay.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
we can just
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah.
hang out here. Why do you want for more? We're doing good. Like, this is what our lives are. And I knew that I wanted more. I knew I needed more. And when it came in when I met Billy, I'd never met anybody like him before. And
Wow.
he really kind of I remember the day I met him and just like walking away from meeting him being like, I've never met a guy like that before.
Wow.
And he definitely
We've got to
made
meet
an
Billy at
impact
some
on
point.
me.
We've got to get Billy on the call for goodness sake. People are going, who's this guy? Billy sounds tremendous. This is great.
You know, and it's funny because we've been married, you know, gosh, we'll be married 15 years and we've been together, known each other 20 some years. And like,
Congratulations.
I mean, oh, thank you. Now he's Billy, you know, like now he's my husband and now I'm used to him. But at the time, I think it just goes to show, like, I hadn't met a man like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, someone who I felt heard and seen.
Yeah.
And so I think that tells you that a lot about who I was up until that point.
Sure.
And sometimes it takes another person to see that in us before we see it ourselves.
Yes.
And I think that's what he's done for me. Now that we're married, been together a while, I'm like, you know, whatever. Like, let me think about that. It's not like that magical moment when I first met him, but I value his opinion and I value his belief system.
Yeah, it's okay.
You know, it's what I needed, you know, and it helped me grow up in my 20s. Hey guys, I'm just popping in here real quick to remind you that if you want to grow your business, achieve your dreams and your goals, then be sure to schedule a call with me and let's get you moving in the right direction. Head over to lisamustard.com, click the About Me page and click Schedule a Call.
But you had to make, I think one of the things you made the move, then you met Billy, if you like. And I think a lot of people, they don't make the move or they don't make the change or the leap. And they have this belief, this narrative that they're never going to meet the right person or the guide or the coach, whatever it is, but they stay put. They don't take the risk of moving because I guess you had no idea when you moved you would meet Billy. I mean, you did, but that you have to make the move first before the magic happens, don't you? As well, that can maybe that risk or that fear can perhaps stop people doing it in the first place. Yeah,
and so I think that's such a great parallel to a lot of stuff going on in my life right now is kind of trust this process and trust the timing of things that are presenting itself. And as much as this whole year has been insane,
it's been an interesting one, hasn't it?
it's also been pretty phenomenal for opportunities and for connecting and for kind of, you know, this quote comes to mind. I think it's a Wayne Dyer quote is, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Absolutely.
And so that's been a big reframe for me for the past here in the States this past week with this election, first of all, but also with like,
let's not talk about politics, but I know
we won't
exactly
talk about
what you mean.
But with the pandemic, that really, really hit me probably about 2 months ago when I was able to kind of see, wow, you know, opportunities are presenting.
Absolutely.
Do I see them as opportunities or do I see them as problems? So
exactly, it's just, but it's just a reframe, isn't it? I think, and I see that. Oh, hence, we've connected through our common friends and colleagues, this sort of thing. And I see it with the work that I do with my business clients and everything like that. And it's really interesting that we had I know you popped on the workshop last week, and the next one is this Thursday as well. And the common feedback that we get is when all these people get together from literally all over the world, is everybody says, well, everybody's the same. They're a great bunch of people, but they're very similar in their outlook. They might be from the UK or from the US, whatever it is, but there's a similarity there. And then, well, guess what? Yeah, of course there is, because that similarity is what actually generates the magic. So you've got to hang out with the right people and be prepared. There is opportunity everywhere, but it's a belief thing, I think, as well.
Yeah.
If you look for it, then you'll see it, and then you'll recognize it too.
Right. Yes, I love the group. That was a great call.
They're a good bunch, aren't they? They're a good bunch.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I remember walking away from that saying the same thing, like, gosh, we're very similar, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
We're humans and we have this common theme of what we all hope and want to create for ourselves. And
absolutely.
I think that's really exciting when you get around people. I remember being so energized after that call, like just ready to like go conquer everything. And I think I did. I think after that call, actually, I got pretty productive, and I was like, well, I'm just going to get at it, and I'm going to do what I need to do. And I'm going to send these.
There you go. I'm going to make the call, make the phone, and just do it. And get, absolutely. Yeah. That's why I love what I do, because I get the same energy from I wouldn't tell it to everybody, but I get the same sort of energy because it's that sort of vibrancy, but it comes back to this. It is the people that you hang out with, that inspire you or hold you up or hold you back, whatever it is. And that's probably one of the biggest things for me. We've, like yourself, we've moved, we've lived in the USA for a while. Well, we lived in Las Vegas, which really isn't the USA. I know that now, but anyway, we've lived in the US for a while. And people say to us, why would you go to the US? Why do you now live in France? You must be crazy. And I think we are, but then we want to hang out with all the crazy people that want to do these sort of things. It is just hanging out with the right people, but the same thing applies. So what's next then? So you got a fabulous career and business and family, and please say hi to Billy for us. He sounds amazing. But what's next for Lisa Mustard then? Now, what's next?
Well, that is a great question. I recently have just decided to help other, and I'm going to probably stick with women because I work best with women. Okay. I'm not saying I wouldn't work with men, but other women who are looking to create a podcast, and create and make a bigger impact, whatever their passion is. Yeah. I'm probably best suited for maybe other therapists who have decided that they want to kind of step away maybe from the hourly fee that they charge, and they want to create something new. I truly believe creating a podcast is an amazing way to grow your brand and to get your message out there. I have seen it just over the past almost 2 years of doing this. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so other therapists, and then also women who have something, a mission, a vision, they're not quite sure. They know they want to get something out there. They're not sure, so I have some calls set up to kind of help them figure out like what their message is and what they want to accomplish. Podcasting is not something that you do. Like, it's not free. You have to definitely pay for I pay for an editor. You pay for a hosting service. You have to pay for, there's a lot of expenses that can go into podcasting. And a lot of people, it's a lot of energy and time to figure out how to podcast. And so I kind of went through all that. And so there's a couple different ways we can just consult, and I can, give you some insight and some feedback, or I can do it all for you.
Right. Okay. So there's a whole range of,
develop it and manage it kind of thing, depending on what you have time for.
Right. Okay.
Because it's a lot to learn.
Absolutely. It is a brave new world, isn't it, for a lot of people as well? Just the term podcast or recording or whatever it is can put some people off to a certain extent. So,
but I think there's a lot of ways to do it. There's so many, and the more niche down you can get it, the better. So I just, I'm heading in that direction, I think, and it's been a lot of fun, and I love connecting with people and interviewing them and getting their insight and helping other people, not with just information, but how to give you really the know-how to do it. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah.
So we always begin to wrap it up a little bit, but overall then, if there are people, hopefully people listening to this, maybe men or women of a certain age, what would be what top 3 tips, which is a very tough question, I know that. What 3 bits of advice or guidance or tips would you give to people that are clearly inspired by what you do and what you've said? But what would your advice be? Top 3 tips?
Well,
no pressure.
Okay. So imposter syndrome is going to kick in, and you're going to think that, who are you to do this? So we all go through that. I still go through it. Like, who am I to do this? But do it anyway. Do it anyway.
Great. Yeah.
Fear, feel the fear and do it anyway. And don't worry about being an imposter. There are going to people, it depends on what your goal is, but you're not going to please everybody. So don't worry about that. Just, think about who you want to serve and how you can help them and the problems that they have, and how can you help them solve their problems. And then the third one would be, if you're not quite sure what that looks like, then find me at my website and just book a 25-minute call. I guess.
I love it. This is good. You're good at this. This is great. I love it. It's great.
But I think the third one would be, you got to start somewhere. You're going to be a beginner, and that's okay. Like, it's okay to be a beginner. I mean, gosh, if you be a beginner, but have the excitement, don't lose the enthusiasm, because that is what is going to carry you forward. And you're going to have days when you're like, why am I doing this? This is so much. I don't know what I'm doing, but don't stay in that thought process too long. Really work to flip the switch and pump yourself up, and know that you have a message and you have a voice, and it's important, especially now. Your voice is important, and you can do this. There's so many ways you can get your message out. It's almost overwhelming now.
Absolutely. It's almost too much instead of an overload, isn't it? And I think something that I've seen, I guess you see this and maybe experienced it, is that it's okay to ask for help. Because I know one of the narratives that I had for a number of years was, I've got to figure this out myself. This is me. I've got to work at it. I've got to figure it out. And then that's draining. And then you realize you can actually ask for some help, or get a guide or a coach or a mentor or whatever it is. And it just becomes clear, and it saves so much time and effort, rather than figure it all out from scratch. So get help and take some advice and guidance, and learn from other people who've been there, before you're doing what you want to do, they've been there before you as well. So.
For sure.
So again, so people watching this, I'm sure they've been inspired. How can they contact Lisa Mustard? Oh, by the way, just real quick, you mentioned your name, Mustard, the sauce, the mustard you put on hot dogs. Well, in the UK, mustard, it is the hot sauce you put onto hot dogs and things like that. But actually, if you say somebody is mustard, it means they are excellent, they're brilliant, they're amazing. So if you get somebody who's a mustard footballer or whatever it is, they're brilliant at it. So it's a perfect name for marketing in the UK anyway. It transfers really well. But anyway, so how can people get in touch with you, book some time to talk to you, get in touch? What's the best way of contacting?
So the best way is probably just to go to my website, which is lisamustard.com. And when you click on the About Me page, you'll see a link to book a 25-minute call. You can you can send me a message on LinkedIn. You can send me a message on Facebook, and I'll get back to you, as soon as I can. And it's probably, my email is really easy. It's hello@lisamustard.com. You can send me an email.
Hello@lisamustard.com.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, fantastic. Well, it's been a joy. I do genuinely appreciate your time. The joy of what I do is I get to hang out with people like you on a regular basis. So I appreciate your time. It's been really interesting and compelling, and for people watching as well. And for people who are listening and watching, please get in touch with Lisa, just to say hi, just say thanks for the content, or book that 25-minute consultation. I'll be back in a few days' time with another person to speak with. But for now, Lisa, thank you. I really appreciate your time. Have a fabulous week, and we'll speak soon. But for now, take care and have a great week, and bye for now.
Well, that wraps up another episode of The Therapy Show with Lisa Mustard. I know there are hundreds of thousands of podcasts out there, and I'm thankful you've chosen to listen to mine.
Be sure to visit lisamustard.com to access the show notes and discover more fantastic content.
And I'd be grateful if you subscribe to the show. Thank you.